Hey, Happy New Year and welcome to this YFP 202 webcast. It's so good to see you guys. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and you're feeling refreshed and ready to get back to business. I feel a little bit like I'm still stuck in December, but I know we got to get moving, so here we are. This is a pivotal year for Shaklee ambassadors like you. This is the year you'll discover a new possibility for building your business online that doesn't include chasing, spamming, or doing icky things that strain relationships. And I realize for actually many of you, you've been using the YFP way for a while, so you haven't been doing that. But we want to make sure that everyone is on the same path. So your dedication to sharing your love of Shaklee products is, well, deeply appreciated. But things are changing and it's getting harder to be seen in the right light online. You see, the digital world is more skeptical than ever, and, well, they may not always appreciate your true intent. So you may feel like you're simply sharing or educating, but the challenge lies in perception. When people see you as a salesperson, their guard goes up, and, well, they become far more resistant to your messaging. And we want you to learn how to build trust and rapport online, reduce resistance, and really be seen as the valued resource that you are. So in this special Back to Business webcast, we'll present a comprehensive roadmap for you to become a fully equipped wellness educator. We'll ensure that you discover the strategies, tools, and support that you need to help you attract interest, engage prospects powerfully, and cultivate a thriving business that you love, and of course, one that attracts people to you. So what will you discover? Well, one is why making the shift at all. We're going to talk about the key reasons why making the shift can transform your business, and how to make the shift from salesperson to educator. So you'll learn how to make that transition to being seen as a valuable resource and educator. It's all about that perception. And then the long-term wellness community strategy. You're going to learn how to magnetically attract people to build a thriving wellness community that lasts. And then, of course, we're going to talk about digital tools. You're going to learn what tools you need to be a fully equipped wellness educator to support your community building efforts. Something that I learned a long time ago, and Nicole Alo, you'll recognize this too, right, is build a structure and educate it. And to help you make the shift, well, stay to the end of the webcast for details on how to get a free one-on-one wellness educator strategy session. In this 60-minute session, we're going to help you tackle your specific challenges, making the shift, align your goals with strategies to attract, engage, and retain clients, and then craft a plan to help you launch your wellness community. Your transformation into a fully equipped wellness educator begins here. So if you're new to YFP, or if this is the first time you've been on one of our live events, please type in the chat that I'm new so we can give you a big welcome. And if you're watching this on our live stream in Facebook, like I see with Samantha out there, please type in the comments if you've got any questions, and of course, where you're watching the live stream from. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Jody Steeg. Sorry to cut you off there, Kristen. I'm so excited. But you can call me Coach Jode. I was 8 years old when my parents started their Shaklee business back in 1981. And I was lucky enough to be able to join them on Shaklee's yearly incentive trips and drive in their bonus cars. And, well, I wanted their lifestyle, so I sponsored under them when I was 18. In 1997, we realized we needed to learn how to use the internet to build if we wanted to build beyond our island, as we lived in Vancouver Island. You may be familiar with Victoria. We're just north of that. So with the help of a web developer in the Philippines, I put Dad's 3-step sponsoring system online. And within a few months, using our new online system, I became a director. And other leaders started asking if they could get a website like mine. And that was the beginning of what is now Your Freedom Project. Your Freedom Project, or YFP for short, has now evolved into a 360-degree ecosystem of marketing resources that will support your shift from salesperson to wellness educator and community builder. And let's introduce Coach Kristen.
Well, hello, I am Coach Kristen, and like Coach Jode, I'm deeply vested in the tech domain. It's a lot of fun, and especially in helping Shaklee ambassadors like you ride the digital wave seamlessly. And it was a curious click in 2009 that led me to Shaklee through the YFP funnel, marking the start of a almost 15-year transformative journey now. And that's how I was led into this transformative world of Shaklee and wellness. And it's a journey that I'm incredibly honored to share with each and every one of you.
So, hey, when people see you doing things online that give the perception that you're a salesperson, their guard goes up and they become far more resistant to your messaging. And one of the hidden obstacles is that most of the current training available is still really based on the old model of selling. They've taken an old offline sales model and tried to apply it to a totally new digital framework. And this is teaching you guys to act like a salesperson online, and you may not even realize it. And that's what we started to notice in our research and surveys, looking at people's social spaces, what was going on. And so even if you attend a training and you'll see them teaching you to lead with transactional sales tactics and to brand yourself as a Shaklee ambassador, but this approach doesn't work in today's social marketing and search-oriented landscape. And to make it worse, the old selling model can really kind of feel inauthentic and selfish. It could include deceptive tactics, even though you may not, that may be not your intention. But again, perception is what matters. It can make it difficult to enroll builders because they don't want to do that. It can be a very difficult skill to learn and master, and it can damage your brand and strain your relationships, and we don't want that. Now, there's nothing wrong with sales when done correctly with the right intentions. We're all selling something. We're all persuading, and it's a beautiful thing when you know how to do it well, because it's what allows us to change the world. Daniel Pink has written 7 New York Times bestsellers, and he did a survey of 5,000 Americans, and the vast majority had a negative view of sales. Let's watch this short clip where he talks about that.
I did a survey of about 5,000 Americans, and I asked them this question. I want you to think about this question yourself. When you think of sales or selling, what's the first word that comes to mind? What's the first word that comes to mind? So I looked at the top 25 adjectives that people used in response to this question. And the number one, by far, wasn't even close, was pushy. And if you look at those top 25 adjectives, 20 of them are negative: slimy, sleazy, smarmy, aggressive. We had people who used not only adjectives, but interjections. People saying ick, ugh. The vast majority of people had this very negative view of sales. And I tried something else. We asked people, when you think of sales or selling, what's the first picture that comes to mind? So you ask people a question that way. I just try to access different parts of their brain. What we got in response to that, in overwhelming, somewhat terrifying numbers, was a guy in a suit selling a car. And again, if I ask you to picture, what picture comes to mind when you think of sales or selling? I wonder how many of you picture a woman. We asked several thousand people this question, and not a single person pictured a woman. Every human being who was identified, it wasn't like a person selling a car. It was a man selling a used car, a man in a checkered blazer and polyester pants selling a crappy used car. And so we have this very outdated notion of what sales is and who sells. We need to scrub that out of our head and begin anew, because if you think about sales and persuasion and influence in a fresh way, you can be extraordinarily effective in your job and do something really important for the world.
What did you guys think of that little clip? thinking of sales and persuasion in a new, fresh way. And that is really what we're all about. Type it in the chat. What was the key piece that really stood out in your mind? Stuck and stood is stuck. Go ahead and type that out. So again, they used words like pushy, slimy, sleazy. Luckily, all you gals out there, they don't see a girl as the polyester wearing salesperson. So you guys are in luck there. But us guys, well, we've got an uphill to climb, right? Thankfully, the new model of creating sales leaves prospects and clients with a great experience because you are helping them find and solve their problems. But hardly anyone is teaching the new model for creating sales. And ultimately, let's remember, you have to create sales in this business or you won't earn any income. And of course, you're not really helping anyone have a health transformation because nobody's buying anything. And we know they have to buy Shaklee products and gobble them up in order to have that transformation. And I know that's really what you guys are here for. And this leaves you at a significant disadvantage. So what can you do to grow your Shaklee business without creating resistance, straining relationships, or doing the icky things? And the answer is to lead with an education-based marketing strategy. Again, lead with education, and that will create sales opportunities. It's actually quite simple. You use educational content to attract interest, and then you nurture that engagement. And when your audience shows that interest, then you reach out and move them into your enrollment process, which is pretty much going to be a one-on-one, or it might be a group event that's more about helping them explore. But in the end, it typically tends to happen one-on-one to close the deal, if you will, put it like that. And this is when you can have sales conversations. So again, we're creating that interest, we're bubbling it up and seeing who's sort of rising to the top, we're reaching out to them, and then we're moving them through our enrollment process. And then we're having sales conversations that are very welcome. Now, here's a great clip with Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes, author of The Ultimate Sales Machine, talking about this strategy. So you'll still be selling, but you're doing it when they're ready for it. It'll be a welcomed conversation if done right. In the past, before the internet with blogs, social media, and search engines, this was very difficult to do without running paid ads. So let's go ahead and look at that clip.
Hi, it's Tony Robbins. Welcome to another edition of the New Money Masters. This session is going to be a very special one. I have an opportunity to introduce you to a dear friend of mine and a partner, and a gentleman who's helped businesses from all over the world. More than 75 of the Fortune 500 have sought him out. He wrote the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. His name is Chet Holmes. So how did you come up with this concept of how to create a competitive advantage that was different than everybody else, of selling the same way, marketing the same way? Where did the drive for that come from? And tell us just a little bit about, your background, how this evolved.
Well, we were poor, and when we were growing up, we were poor. My father was first he was a Marine combat instructor, and then he came out of that and became a police officer, and 5 children, and my mother didn't work, so we were poor, and I didn't like being poor, so I was definitely driven to try and climb above that. And then later in life, I got into sales, and I didn't like being treated like a salesperson. So I found that if I was able to bring value beyond just the product that I was selling, I could get more appointments, I could get appointments with higher level executives. And then when I went to work for Charlie, we institutionalized it. I turned it into a system, and because he didn't give me 9 companies at once, he gave me 1, and then I doubled the sales in it, and then they gave me 2 more, and then I doubled the sales of those, and they gave me 3 more, and so that's how I ended up running 9 different divisions. And then the first one, I doubled 3 years in a row. Using the techniques that we're going to talk to today. So the primary tool that I use to help people try and attract the widest possible audience is what we call education-based marketing. And you and I have a client right now. They're the largest home builder in the world, or certainly in Mexico, they're the largest. They might be the 3rd largest in the world, and probably be the largest in the world before they're done. But these guys build 700 homes a week. And they're New York Times Stock Exchange, trade on the New York Stock Exchange. And basically they're out there all the time going, buy a home X home, buy a home X home, buy a home X home in Mexico, right? And so we went in there, and again, trying to always understand the market, do research on it. Most people never do this. They don't really understand their markets. Like, I talked to a group the other day, and they were selling to lawyers, and I said, how many lawyers are there in the country? Nobody knew. They know their product, they know their service, they don't know anything about the industries or the markets that they serve.
Yes.
So we did this research, and we went out there, and we found out the biggest problem in Mexico is that people will live 3 generations in one household. I mean, literally, you will have 15 people living in a 700 square foot house.
Wow.
There's a living room, a bedroom, and a bathroom. I mean, in a kitchen. That's it. Very, very tiny houses, and they're shacks. And yet the Mexican government now is funding all the homes you want to possibly buy. So you can go out of that shack into a brand new home, and they're taking the money out of your paycheck anyway.
Right.
So just like they do Social Security in the United States, in Mexico, that Social Security can be applied as a down payment on a house, and then the percentage that they take, they'll just take it out of your pay and they'll pay the mortgage for you.
Wow.
So, it's like, why wouldn't you get a house? And just motivating people to get out of that whole thing. So we did some research, and we found out that in a crowded household, the chance of infancy death is 400% greater than in a non-crowded household. If a little girl grows up in a crowded household, because she's the lowest on the pecking order, she sort of grows up with learned helplessness.
Yeah.
Boys who grow up in a crowded household are twice as likely to be a failure in life, twice as likely to be an alcoholic. Females who grow up in crowded households are twice as likely to get pregnant younger. So this is data. So we took some of this data, and where their ads used to say, buy HomeX home, we're HomeX, we build homes, buy a HomeX home. And their agency at the time just said to us basically, look, the advertising is not really, going to pull response. I mean, people are going to buy a house whether they want to or not. You can't really motivate people to buy a house. We're just, fundamentally just branding. And
right.
I don't buy that for a second, by the way. I do not believe that if you're advertising, you should be pulling response. Yeah. And it's a waste of money otherwise. Like, while I'm branding, let me pull some response.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So we started running the ads, and we started saying, did you know the chance of infancy death in a crowded household is 400% greater? Did you know that blah, 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 blah? And then, we set up the whole stage, and the first week that the ads ran, the month prior, they pulled 7 phone calls.
This is $1.5 billion company, by
right.
the way, so people know.
Yeah. And the first week they ran the ad, they pulled what we thought at first was 1,300 inbound phone calls.
Right.
Later on, we found out it was 2,300 because 800 went into nothing because we filled up their voicemail. Nobody could answer any more calls, right. So they were able to track 800 lost calls. And that alone, for a company doing 700 homes a week, in some weeks has boosted their sales 300 additional homes.
Wow.
So
it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And this is the value of education marketing.
So can you guys see the power of that? Moving from saying like, Shaklee's great, their products are wonderful, the company is so amazing, to talking about the research, the education, drawing people forward. Here's an important thing, and I want you guys to type this out. When people are learning, they tend to lean in. So when they learn, they lean in. Go ahead and type that in the chat. So when they're learning, they lean in. That's what you're looking for, is to get people to go, what's that? Tell me more. And you may wonder, well, how does somebody who's selling, who's a stock exchange business help you as an independent distributor? But it's about that concept, right? So you'll still be selling, but you're doing it when they're ready for it. It'll be a welcomed conversation if done right. In the past, before the internet with blogs, social media, and search engines, again, this was very difficult to do without running paid ads. But today, as a fully equipped wellness educator, you have all the tools needed to employ this revolutionary new method of growing your Shaklee business online. And here's a clip showing some of the success stories of our members who've had some of their best months in December. Who wanted to share any wins recently?
Was I gave my members a 10% discount on if their order was like 150 or more. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I decided to go ahead with it. And it really, really helped because there was some that ordered twice, during the month. that's one win for me. That my volume normally runs about 5,000 or a little more, but that was a pretty good jump to 7,000.
I send out this Christmas card. You can get the glare off. I send it so it hits like right after Christmas. So it's a Happy New Year card, because Shaklee has their reputation of giving us free shipping over that period of time. And the first year I did it, I was really surprised at the number of orders that just flooded in with the free shipping, which I use YFP's back office to create a free shipping offer campaign that I send out, because not everyone gets the one from Shaklee. And I do it daily, and I do it twice on the last day. And then the orders continue to flood in January, and I keep a spreadsheet day to day what my volume is, and my volume is double the daily volume.
But thanks to Shaklee, those last 4 days of free shipping, I exceeded what I have had all year. I had a huge PV. I don't know what everybody runs, but I run a consistently, it's been since YFP, pretty 4,000 PV a month. And in December was 4,600. So
Yay,
I was
good for you.
Yeah, I run because of YFP, and I do snail mail yet. That's what I've been working on.
Yeah, don't stop that. Don't stop that, because you don't have to worry about spam filters.
Right. This is what keeps me going, because a lot of people don't do the computer. So, but I need to work more with it. I'd like to get some younger people started. So, just had to share that.
Well, that's a big win, and I'm excited that you are sharing that. Now, you guys may wonder for a minute, well, that didn't sound very educational, but here's the key thing. You see, they've already utilized the discovery phase and the enrollment phase, and now they have those clients in the retention phase. We're gonna talk about that in a moment. So that now, remember how I said build a structure and then educate it, but you can also market to that structure. So you're using education to help you draw in the people, help you enroll the people, and to retain. But once you have them in that retention phase, like they're a customer now you've got this wonderful audience who already you've built trust with, and now you can have a moment where you can just sell, right? And that's what's key about that. So did you get that? Just give me a I've got it in the chat, if that makes sense. That's why they're having these great volumes, and they're able to utilize Shaklee's promotions well, is because they've already nurtured and primed that audience with education, right? They've nurtured that relationship. So make the shift. If you want to build a business where you attract people to you and nurture a community of lifelong buyers, which is what they're doing, you need to make the shift from salesperson to wellness educator. And there are 5 steps to making the shift. One is you need to shift your mindset. You need to learn updated skills. You need to, number 3, use an education-based marketing strategy. Number 4, use action steps, also known as tactics, that attract, engage, and inspire people to take action. And then number 5, you want to build and nurture your own wellness community that you can market and sell to when it's the right time.
All right. In an environment where people are increasingly skeptical of sales pitches, do you recognize it more? Because I find the more that I dive into marketing and this type of educational marketing, I'm way more aware of the sales pitches and ones that are more pitchy, especially in the digital space. So transitioning to a role that is perceived as more consultative and educational is crucial for success. And moving away from sales-centric tactics to educating and supporting a community of buyers represents a significant shift. It's a very different thing to do. And this requires a new way of thinking about how you find prospects, enroll, and retain them as clients and lead your team. So the key principles are designed to align your mindset with the subtleties of educational marketing. And this ensures that you, as a Shaklee ambassador, lead with genuine value and a deep commitment to improving the lives of your prospects and, of course, your members that come along. For you to succeed with the Wellness Educator strategy, embracing the following facets of the educator mindset is critical. So the first one, of course, is growth oriented. You're willing, be willing to adapt, continually seek ways to expand your knowledge and skills in wellness and, of course, in digital marketing. Educational advocacy. So shift from a sales-centric mindset to that of an educator, aiming to inform and empower your audience with knowledge about wellness. And nice, simple things. A lot of people get really overwhelmed with wellness stuff. If you can give them a couple tips that will make their journey easier, you're doing a great job. And then empathetic connections. So engage in active listening to understand the needs and desires of your audience. Prioritize understanding and empathizing with their wellness journeys, which allows you to tailor your educational content and interactions way more effectively because you know where they're struggling. They will lay it all out for you. And by embracing these mindset shifts, you're not just employing a strategy, you're embracing a fulfilling way of building a business that aligns with your core values and just the core values of wellness and education in general. So now that you've embraced the necessary mindset shift, you're starting to hone in on your purpose and grasp the cause that drives you. Let's dive into the 3 primary objectives that are the bedrock for success, which is our find clients, enroll them, and retain, or as we call it, FUR. So regardless of the latest products, changes in sales plan, or incentives that are introduced by Shaklee, these are the unmistakable pillars upon which successful businesses build. This is what needs to happen regardless of what business you have. You need to find clients, you need to enroll them, and you need to retain them. So let's talk about the finding part, which is generally where a lot of us are. You're always in the finding part. So the journey of your business begins with client acquisition. And there are 2 pivotal strategies to find clients. There's outreach, which is the proactive approach that involves directly engaging with individuals and inviting them to join your wellness community, subscribe to your newsletter, or take a look at what it is you offer. But there's that active piece of it where you are reaching out. And then there's attraction. So alternatively, attraction is about curating and promoting compelling content, be it blog posts, social media updates, videos, or live events that capture the attention of your target audience, and then it draws them towards you. They start to lean in. And we recommend prioritizing attraction. So by showcasing your expertise in wellness rather than leading with products, you captivate interest and engage those actively seeking wellness solutions or those who are curious to learn how it can benefit them. There's a lot of people out there who they don't understand how it can benefit them. So if you can teach that and draw them in, that's pretty powerful. So this method resonates with contemporary digital habits, allowing you to showcase value and facilitate organic discovery and connection. So I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person that if something's pushed in my face, I kind of just, I like it when I'm drawn in, and I'm sure you've noticed that for yourself too. If someone comes at you with something and they're trying to sell and it feels very, selly, how do you respond to that versus if someone's teaching you something? Do you lean in more when they're teaching? You run. Turn the other way. Exactly. That's not what we want to create. So that's why this part is so important. So let's talk about why attraction thrives in the digital age. Now, digital world offers a rich tapestry of opportunities to be visible and connect. It's really kind of bizarre when you sit and think about the amount of people we can reach across the globe. And sharing insights and content that spans the 5 wellness modalities. So mental, physical, social, environmental, financial. This positions you as a trusted wellness educator, right? Someone can go to Natalie and say, Natalie always gives us such great tips that I've already been able to implement in my life and I'm noticing differences. You're building trust. And that is so important. This strategy aligns with consumers' preferences for educational discovery over sales pressure. And by focusing on attraction, you foster a community centered on wellness education, which naturally cultivates a deeper interest in the product and services that you recommend. So in essence, modern marketing is about becoming a beacon of knowledge and solutions in the wellness domain. The core marketing strategy for educational marketing, right, comes down to that find, enroll, and retain. And educational marketing works for each phase. So it doesn't matter where someone is in your find, enroll, retain, you can always be educating them. Research now shows that consumers are 131% more likely to make a purchase immediately after engaging with early stage educational content. And actually, Samantha was giving us a great example in the Facebook chat. She did a video and she only mentioned once, it was about her hair. She mentioned once in there that she takes a whole bunch of vitamins, and out of that, just because her hair was so long and other people want their hair to get long, she had 2 people reach out to her, and all she's doing is educating about how to cut her hair, which is kind of cool. So the YFP way, the whole point of it is to educate people into a yes. And educational marketing is the key to the delicate art of creating sales without having to be that salesperson or that selling. Okay. Educational marketing is all about letting people decide for themselves if they want what you're offering. And it can also attract interest naturally. It's a very natural flow to it. There's no pressure from you. There's no pressure on your prospect. So instead of chasing down leads, educational marketing draws people into you, piquing their interest with valuable information. So here's how things are set up. So if you look at our online presence, right, it's your social spaces, and there's a lot of megaphone going out to it, online shop, and then of course her cards, which promotes the Shaklee brand.
And now let's get Laura to do Ella the Educator. There we go. Yeah, what are her cards promoting?
Her personal brand.
Yeah, right on. Now let's go to the next slide.
Okay, so the objective of Sally is, of course, marketing or making sales.
Right, and Laura?
Her foundational...
Building a team and community of buyers.
And then for foundational skills, she works on her sales, follow-up, and communication skills.
Works on her marketing, communication, and team building skills.
Doesn't have a cohesive marketing strategy and is focused on direct sales.
Educational marketing.
What's important to remember is actually at the end where we talked about, how Kristen, Sally promotes just content in the company per se. Actually, there is a space for that. And what would that space be? There is one social space that we do encourage where you can be a little more sales oriented, right? Where would that be? Mm-hmm.
That would be the retention group.
Retention.
Right.
At least for me.
It's my segment. Before we do though, could we just find out, did you guys find that helpful? What we're trying to do is just show the difference, right? Just give me a, what do you think about that? Did that turn on a light bulb or a eureka for you where you're like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of Sally the salesperson, even though you might not have been thinking yourself as that. Do you feel that that's helping you kind of get that? Yeah. Oh, well, way to go, PJ. Thank you. And of course, Victoria and Leslie, Diane, Susan, Amy, Denise, Debbie, Kay. Thanks so much for your feedback there. So think of your wellness community as the heart of your digital presence. It's a dynamic space where individuals not only connect with you, so it's not a one-way street, right? But they also form bonds with each other. And that's what's so important. More than just a platform, it's where shared experiences come to life, where members exchange stories and challenges and triumphs. It's akin to a virtual gathering space where members feel a sense of belonging and unity. And you'll notice with my little stickman drawings here, this is really the essence of what we're trying to help you to build. You'll notice here your community on social consists of how many spaces? Go ahead and type in the number. How many spaces do you guys see there? And just to give you a hint, it's represented by buildings. So, and the Nipah Hut is a building. Way to go, Shirley, you've got it. There you go. So go ahead and type that out. And you know what? Yeah, whoever just said we used to educate through home meetings. Yes. That is exactly it. You see, Shaklee distributors have actually been employing education-based marketing for a long time. They just don't really realize how to put it on the internet. And that's what we're there for. So again, your socials consists of 4 spaces. Your profile, which is represented by the house over on my left here. And then your business page, or what we call the community HQ, represented by the little red antenna there. And then of course you got your discovery group. That's the beach party, the hangout. That's really the core kind of heartbeat of the community. And then of course, finally, we got the VIP lounge, which is where your customers go, right? That's your retention group. So if your audience is on Instagram, by the way, and maybe WhatsApp, because we do work with some in the Spanish community, and they tend to be more on WhatsApp and they don't do hardly anything with Facebook. So if that's you, all you do is just replace the assets in the diagram. So you've got an Instagram profile, you've got an Instagram business account, and then you have a discovery and a retention-focused WhatsApp chat group. So you can do it both ways. I'm not sure if Jess is here, but she's one of the ones that I'm working with to help her with that. So your goal is to move people from your personal profile into your discovery group, and then into your enrollment process, and then connect them to your educational ecosystem, and finally into your retention group, as you guys can see down the bottom. So here's how we help you implement and power the Wellness Educator strategy. So number 1 here is the educational ecosystem. Let's dig into this and let's take a look at that. And it starts with the Educator's hub site. You'll notice up there at the top. And Ann Thomas is kind of like our mascot. I don't know if you call a person a mascot, but our demo gal. So if you see her on Facebook, she's fake, just so you know. So you don't need to friend her, but it allows us to be able to create an exact kind of replica of what we're trying to teach you guys. And in the Educator's hub site is her story page, a page where people can go to work with you. Also, you'll see here, the next one is her events page, where people can see the different events that we have. And then let's zoom into her events. And you'll notice, well, wouldn't you know, there's her webinar registration page. And I just want to give a plug for this because next week, we're doing this for you guys. So those of you that are using YFP, you'll already have your webinar registration page. It's live. So go ahead and start promoting that, because we're going to have Dr. Daggy come in and speak, and you'll learn about that later. Then, of course, there's your funnels. So let's move to the next one, and that is your Explore Wellness, or Explore Opportunity funnel, sorry. And then the other one is the Explore Wellness funnel. And then, of course, your contact list, which is where people are going to go once they register for your event, or they download your ebook, or they join your list. That's where they're going to end up, is in your contact manager. And you can leave notes. And of course, there's a little tracker so that when you guys make notes, it'll show in one place, and it just simplifies your prospecting efforts. And then finally is email marketing, the weekly wellness updates that we write and design for you, the wellness webcast invites that we send on the week of the wellness webcast. And then of course, we also create the monthly Vitality for Life e-newsletter. And that all ties into the resource center. So whenever we're going to create events, that's where we store the replays. The articles that we write for you guys go in there, recipes, and of course, shareable videos and other things like that. Now, to help you guys to do this as well, when we're ready, do we have any more slides here, gang? Let's go down a little bit. There we go. I think we have one more. So this is all that we create for you guys. Here you can see the digital library of articles and ebooks and things like that. I think we have one more slide to go. And then we are going to move. Yeah, here we go. So here's how we support you guys with your weekly wellness show. And that is with Content Creators Club. And what we do is we create a script for you, and we create a PowerPoint that you can use for your show. Now, we also have a service called Social Marketing 365, where we create and post winning content on your social spaces so that you don't have to be the one creating all the content. We will help you with that. And that's what makes this whole thing work, is you have a team behind you that's putting in the post for several of your spaces. Okay, and then of course, with our virtual assistant service, My Freedom VA, we'll help you with your weekly wellness show. If you hire our team, we'll help you create stories and reels. your podcast, your videos, and again, it all ties in to the complete educational ecosystem. And I think we're going to pull back and you'll see it again. There you go. You'll see that's everything that we provide for you that's powering your wellness community strategy. Did you guys find that helpful?
Okay, so now that you know why you want to make the shift from salesperson to educator, how to make the shift, and the long-term wellness community strategy at the heart of it, let's tie all of this together and dive into the transformative journey of becoming a fully equipped wellness educator. And this role is more than just a title. It's a commitment to lifelong learning and community building, because things are going to change. We're going to have to make sure that we're up to date on things to make sure we can serve our community. So let's unpack the essential layers that form the foundation of a successful wellness educator, outlined in our graphic. So firstly, of course, is the educator's mindset sits at the apex of our structure. And this is where our purpose, story, and cause resonate deeply with your community. It's not just about selling products, it's about sharing a vision for wellness that aligns with your personal values and experiences. Then moving down, we have your personal brand. And this is not just a logo or a tagline. This is an embodiment of your unique perspective on wellness. And we all have different things that we think of when it comes to wellness. So your brand is a trust signal to your audience, showcasing your expertise and passion. And central to your role is the live stream platform, which is a dynamic stage for sharing valuable content, engaging with your audience, and building a thriving community. And this is your weekly opportunity to not only educate, but to create a shared space for wellness discovery. Next, we introduce the marketing strategy and tactics and foundational skills. So these are your tools and techniques to navigate the digital landscape effectively, ensuring that your message is heard and your educational content reaches those who need it most. And then at the heart of all of this is the wellness community, the lifeblood of your endeavor. So this is where relationships are nurtured and loyalty is built. Your community is your support network, your sounding board, and your biggest advocate. So supporting all of these elements is the educational ecosystem, which includes your digital presence through your domain name, the security provided by SSLs. And if you're not sure what an SSL is, it's called a secure socket layer, and the professionalism of a business email. And these form the critical infrastructure that underpins your digital services, safeguarding your content and ensuring reliable communication with your community. And by embodying these principles, you're not just an educator, you're a beacon for wellness, a digital pioneer, so to speak, and a trusted guide in the journey towards better health. And as a fully equipped wellness educator, you have the power to change lives, including your own. So thank you for joining us on this journey, and let's embrace the digital tools and strategies that will empower us to lead with education and build communities that are robust and enduring as wellness advocates. So the next question might be, how do we start? Which takes us into the next segment. So let's dive into actionable steps. These are things that you can do today once we're done this call. So feel free to write them down. Now we realize that most people can only give about 60 to 90 minutes per day to their business. So it's important for you to know how and what activities to focus on. So the first one, of course, is connect with people. This is critical. We need people. So adding them on Facebook, your WhatsApp, or following them on Instagram, or whatever social space you're using, if that's where you hang out the most. So building up that connection of people. And then the next one is to collect contact info. Your objective is then to collect data so that you can follow up with them beyond social media. So I've got some people where we actually text, but the main thing is email, phone number, mailing address, any way that you can get in touch with them outside of the social sphere. And then promote and invite to your discovery group, your wellness show, your live events, your wellness content, and of course the Vitality for Life e-newsletter, so that people can be updated on what's going on and you can bring them a little bit closer into your world. The main thing to remember is that the journey of a wellness educator is about meaningful connections, thoughtful engagement, and sharing valuable content. And each interaction is a step towards building a robust wellness community. So collecting contact information is absolutely critical. This is the bridge that connects our social media efforts with real, lasting relationships. And by promoting and inviting your network to join your discovery group and events, you're opening up doors to ongoing wellness education and engagement, which is exactly what we want to have happen. And then you become, like we said before, that beacon for wellness. So, quick recap. So, the challenge lies in perception, right? We covered that. When people see you as a salesperson, their guard goes up and they become far more resistant to your messaging. So we want you to learn how to build trust and rapport online, reduce resistance, and be seen as the valued resource that you are. So that's where making the shift. So if you want to build a business where you attract people to you and nurture a community of lifelong buyers, you need to make the shift from salesperson to wellness educator. And remember, lead with education, and that will create sales opportunities. Okay, and there are 5 steps to making this shift. So 1 is shifting your mindset, right? It takes a little bit, and that's okay. But once you do, it is so worth it. Learn updated skills. Make sure you know what's going on. What is performing best on your preferred platforms, that type of thing. Use an education-based marketing strategy. Use action steps that attract, engage, and inspire. And finally, build and nurture your own wellness community. So I hope that helps you guys get a little bit of a direction for how you want to take on being an educator.